The Supreme Court heard arguments this week over whether states can ban abortion when a woman's life is at risk. It revolves around Idaho's challenge to a Biden administration policy which requires hospitals to provide emergency care for anyone who needs it. Emergency physician and former regional director for the Department of Health and Human Services, Dr. Dara Kass, joining me tonight to talk about all this. Dr. Kass, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. So
the Supreme Court was sharply divided over this, but what's at stake when it comes to the kind of treatment that women can or cannot get in the ER?
So again, I want to reiterate that the Emergency Medicine Treatment and Labor Act is an act that was enacted in 1986. Nearly 40 years ago, which basically said that no matter who you were, no matter where you lived in the United States, if you showed up to an emergency department, you would get treated for that emergency and stabilized before anybody asked any other questions. And now the state of Idaho is saying, actually, there are limitations on what physicians can do when you show up to one of our emergency rooms, and the rules here in Idaho should be different than everywhere else in the U.S.
And so what kinds of changes do they want to see? I mean, who's at risk? Is it the woman whose life is at risk can't get services, or is it in the minute details of what kind of risk to the woman's life?
So that's actually part of the issue here, is the Emergency Medicine Treatment and Labor Act says that the entire person needs to be treated if their health or fertility, life is at risk, all of those things, anything that's running a risk of harming that person should be evaluated and treated right away. Idaho is saying, unless the person is dying, that's the only exception we have. And so anything more than that, kidney damage, loss of fertility, delay in diagnosis, that is a bridge too far. And in fact, our protections for this particular procedure, which could involve the ending of a pregnancy, you can't do that here. We're going to deny you that care, and we're going to force physicians to not be able to provide that care here in our state.
And some of the justices were saying that since Idaho instilled this ban, many hospitals have had to fly women to other states to get some of this emergency treatment.
Right, and that's why laws like this aren't only important in states where abortion is restricted. And remember, this applies to probably at least 6 states that have tighter regulations on the access to abortion than what EMTALA would protect. But it also affects neighboring states. So, for example, Oregon, which is next to Idaho, receives those patients who are transported. And that means that those patients who will get care if they survive will get care in a state like Oregon, and they have to be prepared for not just their own patients, but patients transported from other states like Idaho, where they should be able to get care at the home that they live in the state that they pay taxes in.
Yeah, the impacts are wide-reaching, and like you were saying, this is not just about Idaho. We're talking about at least a handful to up to a dozen states that could be impacted by this decision. Any indication how the justices can rule on this?
So I will say that many of us are not optimistic. There are many justices that believe that federalism, so states' opportunities to restrict care and even define what is available to patients in an emergency, would prevail over long-standing federal protections. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I will say I was a little bit more hopeful to hear Justice Amy Coney Barrett basically say, why are we here? What are we talking about? We're talking about limiting care in what is clearly life-threatening emergencies. Again, this is the Emergency Medicine Treatment and Labor Act. These are patients presenting to emergency departments who need emergency intervention. This is really about life and death of patients and what the physicians are not being allowed to do right there in the ER.
Yeah, we've heard some very emotional testimony from women who are crying about what this means for them and their family members. As an emergency physician, why does this concern you personally?
Well, it concerns me because I could be a patient in Idaho as well, right? I was speaking to an Idaho emergency physician today, and she was thinking about her friends and family that come to visit her, right? What happens if you're visiting a state that has these restrictions and you don't have the same protections you have in your home state, even in an emergency? But also I think about the fact that my peers who have trained to take care of patients are not being limited in that option, and the patients they serve are suffering. And again, as an emergency physician, we go into practice to take care of any patient anytime, regardless of their ability to pay, which is what the Emergency Medicine Treatment and Labor Act was put into place for. But the idea that we're going to refuse care because a politician inserted themselves in an emergency department is something that none of us should tolerate.
Do you think that this issue is as potent as it is in 2024 as it was in 2020?
Oh, this issue is most definitely potent in 2024. I think many Americans are realizing that the effects of overturning Roe are not just the idea that the abortions they didn't approve of maybe are not available, but that the access to health care that they expected for themselves and for their family is now affected. We're seeing things like assaults on IVF, what we're seeing in Alabama, or questions about whether contraception will remain illegal, or even just access to emergency care like we're seeing in this case. Many people never thought it would even get this far, and certainly not this fast.
And just one more question. If the Supreme Court rules with the side of Idaho law, could doctors be held criminally liable here if they did something like an emergency act of abortion?
Well, that's exactly what they said in the oral arguments. What they said was, even if a doctor acts in their best faith judgment, that doesn't stop a prosecutor from looking back and saying, I don't agree with you. And so there is nothing right now, not even the Emergency Medicine Treatment and Labor Act, protecting physicians in states like Idaho that are restricting care, and overzealous prosecutors from prosecuting physicians who are literally trying to save their patients' lives.
Yeah, we will be watching this very closely. Again, the implications wide-reaching. Dr. Dara Kass, thank you so much for your expertise and for staying up late with me tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll be right back.
As you are.